Draymond, we've seen you have this like fun, good relationship with Jordan, and then obviously the incident happening. Could you clarify like how you feel about Jordan Poole?
I love Jordan Poole. That's my guy. You know, I like I said to Jordan, I will still ride for Jordan. I still advocate for Jordan. I will still do anything that I can to make Jordan's job easy, to make Jordan look good, to get him the things that he want out of basketball that I can help from a teammate's perspective. That's that. My feelings towards Jordan does not change. It's a reason Jordan's locker is next to mine from day one, and that has changed a little bit. That dynamic has changed a little bit. It's on me to make that right and get it back, but as far as my feelings for Jordan goes, I'm the guy who supported Jordan when he was sent to the G League bubble when no one thought he had a chance. I'm the guy calling him, hey, man, you should be doing this, or good game. Calling Weems, hey, Weems, I just heard this. Is this true? Weems saying, yeah. All right, let me call Jordan and figure this out. That's me. That don't change, at all. My love is real. Love don't just go by the wayside. My love is there, and my love ain't going nowhere.
My love is real. Man, sound like something from Al Green or Bobby Caldwell. Oh, man.
The
My flame.
Okay.
Yeah. Something like that. But Marc Spears, ace basketball reporter from Anscape, has been doing it at a high level for a long time. So we're talking about this when we're showing this Draymond Green clip, Mark, because of what we saw. The video from TMZ, we see Draymond Green, punch Jordan Poole. Now he's taking some time away. And I just wondered, there was what you knew before that video came out, and then the video gave a different view. Like, how did it change for you, just from a reporting standpoint? How did things change once we became aware of that video?
I mean, certainly when you see something, it gives a greater feeling to you, right? Perhaps the reason why we talk more about what Donald Sterling did rather than Sarver is because we heard audio. And it's a lot. It's like a lot of things in this world. When you see it, when you hear it, it hits you harder. No pun intended there. I think that the video being leaked out, and all of us are veteran journalists, were probably pretty stunned by that, how it got out, and that's a story for another day. But, perhaps the Warriors downplayed what happened, but what happened, happened. And as you guys know, like, fights happen in practice all the time. They usually don't escalate to that level, but typically there's probably about 4 or 5 things behind the scenes that happen with a team a year. And Draymond, what you didn't hear there amongst the many things he said was that he had a lot of things going on, family-wise, personally, that affected where he is. And so, which is kind of surprising about that is, the basketball court is typically a sanctuary. The playing field is a sanctuary for players where you can leave your past, your drama, everything going on with you behind for 2 hours and concentrate. So I'm sure if Draymond had the ability to go back in time and pay whatever he needed to pay to change that moment, he would. But sadly for him, it's a scarlet letter that probably won't go away. And hopefully in time, Jordan will forgive him. The team will forgive him. He will be back. But I know he worked out at the arena yesterday by himself. He probably worked out today. I'm hearing he's in a good space, but he's, waiting for his teammates to basically give him the green light to come back. And he still hopes to play in opening night a week from today.
Mark, I'm curious. Yeah, I mean, this team. Draymond has had incidents in the past. And we know in 2018 he was suspended for a game because of the dust up in the locker room with Durant. How much do you think this incident affects him on a personal level? The other stuff is the other stuff, and we know he's an emotional guy and all of that. But this was different. I mean, even from the way that his teammates responded and even from the way that Coach Kerr responded, how much do you think this this affects Draymond going forward, just in terms of who he is and how he goes about what he does.
Well, I think what probably affects him more is how it affects Jordan, how it affects his family. You know, every time they play a game on the road this season and some fan says something smart to Jordan Poole, or you see something on Instagram where, like, I've seen rap songs about it, right? Or different little memes making fun of it. You know, I know Draymond has a heart and he has some feelings, and he probably is like, man, like, makes you feel worse about it than you already do, because it's not going to go away. It's going to travel with them all season. Maybe it travels with Jordan for some of his career. And I mean, by some of the moves you saw in the last preseason game, this kid is special, man. He's about to get paid. I expect the Warriors to take care of him before Monday's deadline. But the sincerest apologies that Draymond gave still doesn't just make this go away. It's an unwashable stain. And there's going to be some aftermath that's going to be difficult for both of them to deal with this season. But probably with each passing day, it gets a little bit easier. But, you know, hey, man, y'all know how social media is. You know how the cameras are, like ESPN, like Turner, Draymond's employer, like they're going to have a camera on him and Jordan all game, every game, waiting for something. We're all going to be watching. It's just not going to go away overnight. But hopefully the main thing is, as a team, it seemed like things were boiling between the two, and perhaps it was better that it boiled over before the season than during it.
There you go. There we go, Marc Spears. Because I was saying, I was about to say, I feel like something's being unsaid here, because you mentioned that there are 4 or 5 incidents that happen with each team every year, and we've all covered teams, and we know that statement to be 100% true that you just said, Mark. And maybe they don't progress to this level, but incidents do happen. So why is there this space? There's something else going on here. Why are we waiting for the Warriors to take Draymond back, or are we not waiting for that? Are we waiting for the Warriors
I think we're waiting for his teammates to take him back.
Okay, but why are we waiting for the teammates to do it? Why are we waiting for the teammates if this happens often and it's Draymond and he's a captain, he's a leader? What's going on? Something else is going
on. Well, let me ask you this. If the tape doesn't come out, is it escalated to this?
No.
No, you know what? That is a great point, Mark, because even Steve Kerr said publicly that they are able to control these situations if it doesn't get out. And that's what I think really upset him as much as anything, other than the act itself, is he said they could control these situations without the outside world knowing. And so, to your point, Michael, that's what I was going to ask you about, Mark. Is this solvable within that locker room, or does Draymond have to go?
I think they fix it. I mean, the one thing I've noticed about Jordan is he was back practicing that day, right? He was amazing in his first games. So basketball-wise, I think he's fine. And I give Draymond this too. He ain't making no excuses. So, you know, I do respect the fact that he's taken some humility, taking some time to reflect on his issues, taking some, you know, being honest about his faults and what he needs to fix. And but ultimately, the Warriors need Jordan to win a championship, and they need Draymond to win a championship. And both of those guys know it. And so, you know how it is, man. It might be one of those things where maybe the players just got to go have dinner in a room together and like, yo, man, let's just get this all out before the season starts. Let's get this all out and make ring night a special night. So maybe it might be uncomfortable and awkward to all the fans, and you know we're going to hear it wherever we go. But this brings them closer, because I'm gonna tell you what, this team is actually better than the one that won a championship.
Yep.
Really?
So they gotta fix it.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Let's talk basketball then, because if you're saying that, what makes them better? Are you just going off the development of Kuminga, and or are you saying Jordan Poole, like what makes them better than the one that won the championship? They did lose. They lost a couple of guys. They lost Gary Payton Jr. the second. They lost Otto Porter. So why are they better?
Yeah. Well, let's start with the young guys you mentioned. Wiseman is going to be very, very special for this team in a way that Andrew Bogut was when he was healthy. Now they have a rim protector, which they didn't have all last season. They didn't have any size. They have it in him, a guy that could catch alley-oops, rebound, block shots. Moses Moody, he's going to pick it up. He's going to be a great scorer, very mature kid, doing very well. Kuminga, you saw flashes of what Kuminga's going to do. It's not his rookie season either. He's going to help him out.
I really do.
Keep an eye on this kid, Patrick Baldwin Jr. They call him PB&J. It's a 6'10" kid who's shooting threes, who I don't know how much he'll play early, but he's going to play later. Adding DiVincenzo, I think, was a very, very nice pick for them. And keep in mind, Clay showing up in January. Clay is here. He hasn't played in the preseason. We'll see if he plays tonight. But let's see what Clay, this is a different Clay. This isn't like Clay's been there, done that. They're healthy. They're more, they got their stride back. Like to me, the youth being mature and Clay being back, how can they not be any better than they were a year before?
Mark, I want to ask you.
Jordan Poole is Jordan Poole, right? Steph and Steph. We haven't even mentioned Steph Curry's name, but like Steph and Steph.
But you mentioned Wiseman, to me, who is such an interesting figure in all of this. And I wonder, obviously, you know him better than we do. Wiseman has always been the guy, whether, high school, even that 1 year in college and whatnot, where he's an offensive threat. The offense will typically run through him. And now he's going to be a true role player with what they have around him.
Yeah.
How does a young guy like that deal with that in terms of who has the prodigious talents that he has to say, you know what, I got to step back some and be a part of something and not sort of the hub that everything revolves around?
Well, Jim, man, I think his appreciation just to play the game of basketball, rises above everything else. He basically missed most of his freshman year because of NCAA dumbness. I'm going to call it. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm going to call it that, dumbness.
Yeah, let's make it one.
Yeah, and his injuries that he's been plagued with first 2 seasons of his career, I don't think he's worried about his role. I think he's just happy to be on the floor. Perhaps that rises as things go, and Looney is going to start, and perhaps he doesn't get the starting position this season, but he's going to have a heck of a role with this team. They're going to need his size. I mean, what do you do when Embiid's playing? What do you do when Joker's playing? You need guys like him, and he just gives them something different. That only oop factor on the team. In the half court. I mean, the size, the rebounding. I think if there was a hole that the Warriors got lucky with during the playoffs in terms of matchups that they weren't exploited by due to the other teams, like lack of size or injuries, it was not having a guy that not having Wiseman there. That certainly, their lack of size certainly could have been something that could have been exploited a lot more.
Yeah, I don't think casual fans realize how good or how talented Wiseman really is.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna learn.
I am looking forward to seeing his development. Yeah,
they're gonna learn soon.
Well, I know Marc Spears. You know a lot of people. You talk to a lot of people. I want you to dig deep into your mental notebook and pull out the most interesting or the most shocking quote somebody in the game has told you about young Victor Wembanyama and how he is going to change basketball. What did somebody tell you? You were like, oh, really? About this kid, the 7'4/7'5". I've seen 7'4", I've seen 7'5", but I know whether he's 7'4", 7'5", he can shoot threes, he can roll to the basket, he can defend, he got handle, he's fluent in English and French, charismatic. So what have you heard about this kid?
You remember that look in Pulp Fiction when they opened the briefcase and that smile they had? Like that's what I feel like I saw in the brief. Like I know what's in the briefcase now, like something like that. I was there in Vegas last week, and I was just like jaw dropped, along with the other media, along with the fans, along with everybody, whether it was Devin Booker or Asia Wilson or Chris Paul. Like, we were stunned, Boogie Cousins, at what we saw. This kid was phenomenal. So here's your quote. I talked to CJ McCollum about him, who's been watching him for 2 years and watching some workout tape for him for 2 years. And he goes, think about this. The kid plays in his first kind of NBA sanctioned game, and he made 7 of 11 three-pointers. How many, he asked me, he said, how many NBA players can make 7 of 11 threes by themselves? He's like, that's Steph Curry territory, and he's 7'4". So I will say this. If somehow, some way, you are in the vicinity of watching this kid play, you have to go. You have to see it. Like, TV does not do it justice. And like, to me, his greatest play, he did this crossover at the top of the key. He did a crossover step back three and got fouled. It's like, come on, man. I saw him dive for the floor to get a ball. He moves like a small forward. Like, he's not supposed to move like that. Maybe Ralph Sampson moved like that. I don't know. But he's not supposed to move like that. He was shooting threes leaning in the air and shooting them and nailing them. Like, who does that? Ray Allen, maybe, Chris Mullin, Larry Bird. Like, how many guys can do that? And I just feel like I just saw, like, just when you think that there can't be another evolution in the game of basketball, you see it. And now I'm like, that's why the NBA is investing in Africa the way it is and trying to get more of these, like, 7-foot African kids, these athletic African kids to start hooping. Because, like, 10 years from now, there might be 8 or 10 Victor Wembanyama's in the league, right?
Cool.
It's just, I'm going way ahead with this, but now they're building a foundation in Africa to, like, develop more guys. And this ain't my coach growing up, with all due respect to my coaches. They were like, boy, take your butt into the post. Like, these kids are taught all the skills now. And that his shout out to his agent, Buna Njai, for putting a team around him where now he's only playing 1 game a week. He's got a strength coach. He's got a nutritionist. He's got somebody to stretch him properly. He has a doctor. He has a team around him on a daily basis to make sure that they get him right. Like, he stretches before the game, during the game, when he's about to go back in, after the game. This is not a game with this kid. They know what they have. They're bringing him along slowly. And I'm going to tell you what, like, I haven't been this excited about a prospect probably since LeBron and Yao Ming.
Wow. Oh, so that, you know what that tells you, Mark? The next time we talk about him, the three of us, what's the place in Oakland? We're going to go to a breakfast spot in Oakland.
Queen. Lois the Pie Queen owes me one of them pork chops now. Them pork chops.
Okay.
Hey, they got pork chops for breakfast. Pork chops
of course, why not? Oh, of course. Yeah. But of course, you got to have.
I think that's the Reggie Jackson meal. That's the
Reggie Jackson
meal. No, Michael, we got to make it our mission to have a Marc Spears meal on that menu. We got to make it our mission. You know?
Hey,
so I know I'm going to be up in the Bay in a couple of weeks. I'll be by.
Is Reggie Jackson talking about Lola's the Pie Queen right now? Is Reggie doing that? No, but Marc Spears is. So there should be a Marc Spears.
I did see Reggie Jackson a couple years ago at at a Warriors game, wearing a Yankees hat. And I told him, man, it really breaks my heart that you would wear that cap right next to the Coliseum. And I noticed about 15 minutes later, he took the hat off. So maybe
there you go. There you go.
Marc Spears got that clout. Go ahead.
There it is. He said, and you appealed to his heart. You said it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
You didn't say you should be ashamed of yourself. You said you're breaking my heart, Reggie.
He played with the
Good to see you,
basketball
Mark.
jersey wearing A's. Those A's.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.